it's a story I can't really tell because I
Okay.
could be sued. But
Okay.
basically, what it came down to was I was persona non grata because I was starting to divulge things that were going on behind the scenes that some very highly placed people at the network weren't comfortable with. There was fishy business going on. And I had no contract. I didn't know if I was coming back the next season. And when I divulged this stuff to the parent company, which was Bell that just bought the network, didn't go over well for some people. They were in trouble. And Global came to me, made me an offer through an intermediary who's now in prison for fraud. Yeah. For a guy with street smarts, I got sucked in twice in my life, and this was one of them.
Great
And
case.
I went there, and it was a nightmare. It was just a nightmare. They didn't sign us up for ratings. That's how stupid they were. I'm handing them something that's been a work in process for 8 years, and they didn't know what to do with it. It was an opportunity for me to have more ownership in the show. I think that's one of the reasons I took it. But they blew it minute one. Blew it minute one. I was hired by Izzy Asper, the father. He died a month before I came over. Now I got to deal with Fredo and Michael Corleone, the Asper brothers. The older brother I call Fredo behind his back because he wasn't allowed to run the company. And the other one, Leonard, like absent all the time. Couldn't even get a hold of the guy. And the other brother, the older brother, Fredo, is left in charge, and it was just a nightmare. So when that was over, I got out of Dodge fast with my girlfriend and went to Florida for 6 weeks because I'd never had a vacation like that in my life. I'd never been off for more than like 5 days of anything. So I took off for 6 weeks, and then I hit a dry spell. Then I went to CFRB, had a good time there, and if it came down to radio or TV again, I'd take radio. It's way more freeing. I don't have anybody writing for me. I don't have anybody looking over my shoulder, and it's an opportunity for me to talk to real people every day for an hour. I loved it. Loved it.
Didn't
I'd
you
still be there.
didn't you make an interesting appearance on the Gemini Awards?
Yeah, yeah. Where I'm not dead yet. They were doing a murder mystery or something, and the corpse underneath the blanket was me. I said I'm not dead yet. I got up. Yeah. You know what? That was okay. I think the bottom line is now I got this thing cooking, and it's big, and it's Netflix, and I'm with the right guy now. I'm with the right producer, guy with a lot of clout, guy with a lot of integrity, fantastic human being, and a great track record in the U.S. and here. So this thing's going to fly. If we were doing this next week, I'd be able to tell you about it. Maybe I'll come back, but it's going to be a different deal this time around. And I'll tell you, I think anybody, at least in this country, who wants to make a mark is going to go the Netflix Prime route because, I mean, I don't know what CBC, CTV, and Global and whatever else have to offer you because they're just not doing it. Randy Lennox has been a dear friend of mine for 30 years. He just left as the head of Bell Media. He was the president of Universal forever, Universal Music. And he just left Bell Media in January. They wanted to renew him for another 5 years. And you know what his response to them was? I'm a builder, not a demolisher. I can't take any more of these layoffs. I can't take any more of this shit. I'm out. And he started his own company. And I mean, if a guy at Randy's position feels that way, you got to feel that way too. And the problem with CBC is if you go that route, never met a CBC person I really liked. I'll tell you why. Because if there is a star system in this country, it's in that fucking building. And when you walk in that building, if you are a talented person, that atrium up top sucks the energy right out of you when you walk in there. That's why this hour has 22 minutes shoots in Halifax. They won't get their asses anywhere near Toronto. But Mark Critch, those guys, Shao Majumder, really like those guys. but they're not part of the Toronto elite in the CBC. And what I saw at CBC over the years was people who really believe what, not their own press, but what the PR people at CBC are telling them. And there is no connection to real people, zero connection to real people. And it just blows my mind, you know.
What about Rick Mercer?
You know what I always say to people, Bill? I had a 20-minute conversation with a guy at Loblaws. Went out to the parking lot, met his family, shook hands with him. He goes, Mike, I knew you were going to be this kind of guy. I can't tell you how great it was to me. And I knew you were a regular guy, and just knew you were going to be great to me and my family. I said, you think I'm nice now? Wait until you meet Rick Mercer. You'll think I'm even nicer. That's it. That's all I got to say about that.